guys, it's Biggs. Welcome back. Now, I did tell you guys, I hinted at it a couple episodes ago, that I was going to want to be able to kind of give you guys a glimpse into my life besides the fish. Now, granted, I know almost all of you knew me through the fish side, and you know that's my main passion, one of my main passions, but Biggs is a complicated dude. He does all sorts of other random stuff, as you've seen by some of my random things about plants and animals and other sort of things, and whatever kind of intrigues me. But one thing I did tell you guys is I was going to give you a glimpse into what happens in my day today and why it gets so hectic for me in the summertime, and why sometimes it seems the fish get kind of put on the back burner, and some of the projects that I've got in plans or aspire to do, and some of the builds and all that stuff kind of gets put to the side, because in summertime we have such a limited window of time up where I live. I don't live at the Arctic Circle, but I do live about a half hour east of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, which is about an hour and a half north of Grand Forks, North Dakota. So absolute armpit of the world. Sorry, that's where I live. But our season's so limited, you know, Mother's Day is kind of like the first day you could ever even go outside and start planting anything in the ground. Anytime before that, you're risking a serious frost that'll kill everything off. So I know you guys are all, probably already enjoying the bounty of some of your gardens coming in, but for us up here in the northern climates, that ain't happening. And then by the time the kids go back to school, beginning of September and stuff like that, we're starting to get those real cool nights, so everything changes down a little bit. So I know it sounds already that I'm telling you that I'm some sort of a farmer or something like that, and I'm, plowing fields and everything like that during the day. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what this is about. But I'm going to take you outside anyways. I'm going to show you what we do and why it gets so a little bit crazy around here. Now, about 5 years ago, my wife had a great idea, and she said, you know what? We should leave the city, sell our house, move to the country, and get 5 chickens. A very specific number. Don't understand why it was 5 chickens specifically, but it was 5 chickens. Now, I've spent my life touring around in airplanes, and I've seen a lot of the world and stuff like that, being a musician and whatnot. And for me to live outside of the city and move out into like just bare ground, I don't even know what to call it, is a bit of a change for me. So that's what we did. We moved to the country 5 years ago to own 5 chickens. Now, I don't know any of you that keep chickens. I'm going to blame people like Mike Drawdy at Imperial Tropicals and Rachel O'Leary from Miss Jinxed. They always had chickens running around their property. I always thought that was kind of cool. And I probably always came home and told my wife about how cool that was and stuff. They got farm-made fresh eggs and all that sort of stuff and everything. It's like, so maybe I'm totally to blame. I don't even know. But here we are, exactly 5 years later, and I can tell you decidedly, we have a hell of a lot more than 5 chickens. My entire garage was filled with chickens. These are all new babies right here. These are all babies from this year. They're all over the place. They all go out every day. We got several dozen eggs. It's absolutely mayhem. Most of them were named until it got to the point that we had like 20 or 30 chickens. It's just absolute chaos. We got silkies that are always going broody. That's a Brahma. That's a Brahma mum laying eggs. She would have kicked them out. So got lots of eggs today. And you see some of the eggs have little markings on them. So once the Brahma's done laying her egg, this silky here is going to hop back into this one because she's been sitting there being broody, incubating eggs. Guaranteed this one's going to be broody as well. You sitting on eggs? You sitting on eggs, Mom? She's sitting on one. Sitting on one. One silky egg. Great, because that's what we need. We need more freaking chickens. Fair if we didn't start right at the beginning. Once we had the compound built and the chicken coop ready to go, we were impatient, and we went to the first auction we could find, and we came home with Roscoe and his 2 girls. They were a trio of Wellsummers. Gorgeous, gorgeous birds. I think it's the bird that the cornflakes is styled after. And they were awesome birds, laid eggs and stuff, but Roscoe was extremely aggressive and would attack Dana repeatedly, and apparently me laughing at her getting attacked by chicken is not good for harmony in the home, so they had to go. Shortly thereafter, we were raising baby Brahmas in my basement, and then right after that, we were raising baby rock stars, which are Polish cresteds. These were my favorites. They weren't the best productive chicken, but my boy Nigel, he was sure legendary. He was an amazing, amazing chicken. Now, apparently when your wife says she wants 5 chickens, it doesn't actually mean 5 chickens, because there's a thing called chicken math, and apparently chicken math means 5 could be 70 chickens. We don't know. Could be 20 chickens. Doesn't really know. So we don't even question how many chickens we have anymore, or why there's chickens in my basement, or why there's chickens in the garage. But unbeknownst to me, once you start having chickens, you don't just have chickens. You get these noisy things down here. They're all over the place. And those are guinea fowl, so we'll see them a little bit closer, and they're alerting, they're making the different sounds right now. The boys and the girls make different sounds, and they're alerting to say that there's a predator nearby. I don't know if I'm really a predator or not, but basically that's what they're telling us. There's a couple of them on the ground there and stuff. But the other thing that I completely was unaware to is that not only do you start with chickens, but chickens are just basically the gateway drug going into other animals. So we got chickens, and now we got guinea fowl, and then shortly thereafter, we came home with a goat. Trust me, not the smartest decision. We brought the goat home in the back of our Jeep, because impulse buy, because, you know, we're super smart and I make lots of smart decisions. This goat came with us in the back of our Jeep. We brought him home and we put him inside Jedi's Run. And it was built with 4-foot goat wire, goat fencing, so we think it's pretty good. And we built it mainly to keep Jedi in, not necessarily keep a goat in. But we let Loki out. That's his name, Loki. And if you know the comic book or the story of Loki, you'll understand why he's named that way. But we landed Loki inside Jedi's Run here, and we took him off his leash, and 2 seconds later, he turned and jumped over the fence and ran away. Apparently, what they don't tell you about owning goats is to try and contain a goat is you build a fence for a goat, and then you take a glass of water and you throw it at the fence. If a single drop of water made it through that fence any way at all, your goat can get out. And it's pretty true. So I'll show you Loki. Loki has 2 buddies now because goats are very social. And of course, you can't own just 1 goat. So now we got 3 goats. So we'll show you those guys. We've got some other animals too. Then there seems to be no end in sight. So the construction projects of what I've got involved all the time and why I'm so busy in the summer, I think you guys will quickly understand. So here's the goat enclosure. This is Loki, the Lord of Mischief himself. Yeah, he's a pure African pygmy goat. And then we have 2 what are called wethers. The brown and white one is Simon, and his twin brother, Elliot, the black and white one. Elliot is wonderful, super docile. Simon is as well, but Simon is extremely shy, and Simon will almost never come to you. And then Loki, well, he's just a big jerk. He's a typical male goat, wants to be the boss. He will headbutt you, he will knock you over. He'll be the bully to try and get to all the food quick and fast, which is what's happening right now. And then you see walking up is Baby Bella. And Baby Bella's in here just very, very temporary, but we'll explain why in a minute. Okay, this enclosure this enclosure wasn't a planned enclosure. You can see the goats enclosures right there. That was for Loki and his boys. But the thing was eventually that once we got the male goats is that we were going to eventually have female goats, and that was going to be, and then I thought we were going to be good. That was going to be status quo, happy wife, happy life. But apparently that wasn't what the plan was, the grand scheme of things. So we had this enclosure built, ready to go going into winter, and then all of a sudden Harriet came along. And Harriet is in this enclosure here. So if you guys want to come with me, we'll go find Harriet. Harriet is a New Zealand Kunekune pig. And Harriet gave birth to 3 piglets, Luna, Kevin Bacon, and Gus, in October of last year when I was speaking at the Milwaukee Aquarium Society show, Fishbowl. And then we have since gotten an unrelated boar named Hamlet, and Hamlet and Harriet have also done the Minga Minga, and we shall be having some more piglets coming up probably end of September, beginning of October, and conveniently, I will be away in South Africa during that time as well. I'm sure my wife is super excited about having to do this all over again, completely by herself. Okay. This is Harriet. Harriet's the mom, and she's pregnant again, and it's been exceptionally hot for us up here the past few days. We've beaten over 30 degrees every day the past little while. Today's the first day we've had any sort of reprieve whatsoever, so I can see all the pigs are nice and out, and Harriet's just having a bit of a nap right here. She's not being very excited about coming out and greeting us and stuff. So let's go see the babies out here in Hamlet. These are our other Kunekune pigs. This is Hamlet. Hamlet. And Kevin. This is Kevin over here. And then that's baby Luna. Baby Luna and baby Kevin, those are Harriet's babies. And then Hamlet's an unrelated boar. Hamlet's about 2-3 months older than these guys here, but completely unrelated to the rest. Hi, Luna. This breed of pig is known for being extremely docile. They usually, when they're not food driven, they'll usually come to you right away, and they want to have some pets. And they like the belly rubs. They're super easy to work with. Harriet's not quite full size. She'll get a little bit bigger, so they're going to always stay around that 250-pound mark, maybe a little bit bigger, but not much. Last year was a bit of rough winter, having babies being born in October, and they got a fair bit of frostbite on their ears coming out to feed. So this year we're going to have to build a different shelter and stuff for them. Some of the shelters you see being built, we're going to build something a little bit different for them to get out of the wind in the wintertime so they can feed. But overall, these guys are absolutely wonderful, wonderful pets. Their main diet is strictly just grass. So we've given them about 3 acres now that we've just made this new compound. And what's going to be coming out here is this compound was built for Bella and the pigs. And then we have a male called William that'll be unrelated to Bella coming at the end of the month. And he's going to be super cool. But the reason we keep Bella in that small enclosure right now is she's a cow, but she wasn't used to people whatsoever. And by keeping her in that small enclosure and really being concentrated time, bringing food to her, sitting with her, petting her, grooming her, she now treats us as mom and dad, and she's as gentle as a puppy. And you can see her looking at us right now over there, wondering, hey, why are you guys coming in here? I see you over there. This is Kevin. Kevin, you want to lay down? Lay down. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, Kevin. One thing you might see on these guys is these little tassels. These are called pidi, and it's a trait on Kunekune pigs. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. There's no rhyme and reason as to when they do or don't. But both Kevin and Luna have them, but Mom and Hamlet don't. But their offspring can. I just think it's a neat little thing. Come here, baby gum. Come on, Mom. Hi. This is Harriet. Yes. Come on. Come on, Mom. She's a wonderful mom, aren't you? Yes. Another trait of the Kunekune pigs, which none of ours have, because our Kevin's just a baby still, and Hamlet still is young too. But once they reach about 2.5, 3 years old, the males will start developing large tusks that come out the side of their mouth, and it makes them look really, really aggressive looking. But they're definitely not. You can see how aggressive they are. They're wonderful. You want to come sit? You want to come lay down, have a tummy rub? Come on, Mom. Come on, Mom. No? She's just enjoying the pool. Oh, look at him, Mom. Yes. Good girl. Want tummy rubs? Come. Oh, there you go. There you go, Harriet. Yeah, I like the tummy rubs. Yeah. The nice thing about them being this docile is you really get that individual check on them, so we can check them for ticks and health things, trim their feet, easy to deal with. Very, very nice animals to work with. They're just an absolute pleasure. This is Bella. Bella is a purebred Scottish Highland cow. She's a female, obviously, and we have a full male coming that's going to be more the standard bright red color from somebody unrelated. And William is his name. He'll be coming here probably at the end of July. So very shortly, as soon as I finish up their wind shelter or windbreak or implement the other shelter, she's going to go out there. And then she'll have the full 3-acre pasture all to herself, well, with the pigs. And then William will come and be in here for a little bit where we could do the exact same thing. When we brought her here the first day, she was not comfortable. She was scared. She'd never been away from her mom. And now we've basically got a puppy. He loves, and this is why we go and pick her all the different types of grasses. There's grass here, but there's not as much, and we give her hay every single day. But this gives her that bonding time. And the other thing we do a lot with her is we sit there and groom her every single day. She just loves it. It's good for her. It's good for us. We get to spend that time together. Yeah, go ahead and eat. It's okay. Yeah. Good girl. You don't think of people sitting there grooming cows very often. There's another example of Loki being a bit of a jerk. Yeah, he's a jerk, isn't he? Not very nice. He's going to get locked up in his house if he keeps that up. Right? 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 Hey? You be good. Or else. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little glimpse into what happens in my life, in the behind the scenes of instead of just fish and plants all the time. There's a lot more stuff going on. And honestly, I'd never change it for the world. Thanks, guys.